Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good? What's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
Now we have a special guest. We met this motherfucker where in Phoenix,
Yes.
in Arizona for the Beyond the Music retreat.
Yeah.
And he was the loudest motherfucker there.
And the funniest motherfucker in there.
He was the funniest motherfucker there.
He had a Mexican cowboy hat.
You ever seen Wedding Crashers? Yeah. So like when he was very Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. Like, who is this guy?
You know what stuck out to me when we were doing the questions and we asked, "What do you keep in your DJ bag?" His answer blew me away.
What was it?
Was it a pregnancy test or a plan B?
A pregnancy test.
There you go. See?
And a plan B.
That speaks for itself. We got one of Atlanta's finest here. We got Black Amigo in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is the Black Amigo, a.k.a. the Margarita Messiah, a.k.a. Rap Game Bill Murray, a.k.a. Tequila Tio, baby. Let's go.
Jeez. Wait, so your name, your name, Black Amigo.
The Black Amigo. You gotta say the, because, it'll get real muddy.
Really?
It's like
real quick.
The game.
I'll get shot. Don't get me killed. I got work to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Is there another Black Amigo?
Black Amigo gang. You ever heard of Future?
Huh?
Future. Sorry.
Future?
Future. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Black Amigo gang. You ever heard about them? No affiliation. That's why I'm the Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
No arrogance.
So it's not like Facebook, like the Facebook.
No.
Word,
It is, but yeah.
But I think Black Amigo sounds better.
It does, and that's fine. They know, but just to make sure that we're not, crossing.
So through this whole interview, I have to say the Black Amigo.
No, I'm not that arrogant.
Okay.
But if you want to,
okay,
that's great.
All right,
I promise.
But if I forget to say the,
no problem at all.
You ain't gonna get shot.
Not at all. Not at all.
Wait, so what's going on with Black Amigo? Is Future's what crew?
Black Amigo gang is an affiliation with Future and all of them.
Why are you calling him Future?
Like if you know him.
Oh, that's what you call him if you know him.
Mama named Nevadius. I call him Future. He's known as Future to y'all.
Okay, I didn't know. Future, yeah.
Future.
There's some Atlanta shit going on over there.
How the fuck am I gonna know Future's
Come on, man. I never heard that before.
Future.
Y'all never heard of Future?
I would have never said, "Hey, Future, can I use your bathroom?"
Yeah, Future.
That's gotta be some.
Shout out to BK. BK is actually the owner of one of my residents out there. He's actually his tour manager, so we're cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So like I said, y'all
This
call
is
him
like
Future.
some Atlanta celebrity
this is
shit,
Right?
right?
Brought me from Atlanta, man.
Okay.
I'm just trying to ingratiate myself within this, let them know. Like, hey, look, you want to be in, let's get in. You know what I'm saying? 10 toes in, baby.
So what came first? Future's gang crew?
I don't know.
I mean, we can't necessarily say gang though. Wait, I heard there was a thing, right?
You gotta say like
Because everyone's going to be in a RICO case.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's by itself. But we're not going to talk about that.
Everyone's in a fucking RICO case.
You can't say gang. You can't say gang. You can't say mob.
Actually, I heard the legal thing to say now is militia.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
You could say militia.
'Cause that's like military, right? Kind of like a.
I think so.
Untrained
I know. I
military.
think it's legal to have a militia.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the DJs, like if we were all at Phoenix and we decided, you know what? Fuck this shit. We're going to take on all these GMs and owners for increased pay worldwide and like as a standard. We'd be like the DJ militia because we'd have no training at all, but we're about to go fuck some shit up.
I don't even think that would fuck anything up.
It probably wouldn't, but we would try, and that's still considered, by definition of Webster's dictionary, a militia.
So Future's militia is called Future's militia is called Black Amigo.
Black Amigo gang.
Black Amigo gang.
Right.
All right. So did you call yourself? Were you known as Black Amigo? The Black Amigo before that or after?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. So we just gotta go say from 2000.
Have they approached you on some shit?
No. Okay. So here's how the name.
I feel like they have approached you.
No, they
That's
haven't.
why.
They haven't. They haven't. And I've actually DJ'd after hours specifically when Casino Future's artist was at Anchor After Hours in like 2015 on Free Bands. And he used to always love what I would do when we in there because we used to play all the EDM trap and the hip hop, the trap hip hop, kind of mix them together back and forth.
Yeah.
And everything was cool until a big ass brawl happened, but that's a whole nother story. But they respected me because I was the Black Amigo. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was cool. But I don't know them all, hey, look, again, don't get me shot. People get, a little wet behind the ear, you know what I mean?
But where'd you get that name from?
I'm Black and Mexican.
Oh. But you weren't born in Atlanta, right?
No,
You're from San Francisco.
I was born in San Francisco.
So you're a Bay Area baby.
Yep.
So how long were you in the Bay before you moved to Atlanta?
I was in the Bay Area for 9.5 years before I moved out in 1996, right before the Olympics, into Atlanta.
So how much?
wow.
So how much of the Bay did you soak up?
I soaked up a lot of the Bay. Obviously, the Too Shorts, the E40s,
Right.
3 Times Crazy, shit like that. But it wasn't like, I still was more so like hearing a bunch of the mainstream shit. Like that's when Biggie, Pac, all of them was out before I moved out. So when I moved out to ATL, all that shit was still prevalent. When I was in ATL, that's when right when Pac died, right after that Biggie died. So you
Like
think about
95, 96?
96, 97.
Yeah.
That I moved out right before the Summer Olympics in 96. So I've seen Atlanta grow from literally like ultra racism to, now it's like one of those modern southern cities, like the New York of the South now.
Yeah. So you moved like kind of in the mid 90s to Atlanta.
Yeah,
right?
96.
Yeah, because I remember it wasn't like Fife. I remember like Fife was one
That's
of the.
when like when New York rappers started moving to Atlanta.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
like Fife from A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
He moved to Atlanta, and we were all like, he was from Queens, and every New Yorker was like, "Why the fuck are you moving to Atlanta?"
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when Atlanta was like starting to pop a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And it was becoming like, I think everyone was saying like it's becoming like the next like really like major black city that's
Right.
about
Yeah.
to evolve. and shit.
Yeah, I seen it
That's
from
when
the ground up.
Criss Cross was popping, TLC was popping.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Nabs and Ross.
Donnell
That's
Jones
when-
was
that's when
popping.
that's when Outkast
Outkast started popping.
popping.
Goody
Surgeon
Mob.
Family.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a great time for Atlanta,
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like I said at the time, like I was a kid, but I seen, that was right when Freaknik was like kind of on his way out.
Yeah.
Oh, so you call it like the last years of Freak?
Yeah, when I wasn't supposed to, but I did.
Because he was like 10 years old.
This motherfucker came out the way he is, bro.
Look, maybe I may have or may not have hit puberty by then. Who knows? But I seen some shit.
So wait, Freaknik is like what? Who started that? Luke?
No,
Nah,
that just the Atlanta niggas. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, yeah, it was right.
yeah.
But he somehow got involved with that shit, right? Am I wrong?
I mean,
I think we associated because of the music.
Yeah, he was kind of the
music?
ambassador.
He was like the soundtrack for that shit or something.
He's Miami, but Freaknik is and always will forever be an Atlanta thing
For sure.
Here's the thing.
You know what? JD blew that
Yeah,
shit up.
JD.
My bad.
JD owes me an apology, by the way.
Jermaine Dupri.
Jermaine Dupri,
There's no
Jermaine
nickname-
Joseph
there's no
Dupri.
We don't know the
owes
nickname.
me
There's
an
no
apology.
nickname.
for Jermaine Dupri. Right?
Jermaine Joseph Dupri owes me an apology from when I was 16 years old, back when at Club 1150 when he scuffed up my Timbs.
Oh,
Wow.
shit. Was that on accident?
Maybe.
Very specific.
Yeah. Them Timbs were my best pair of Timbs I ever had. It was a private party for the Recording Academy, the NARIS, and he was the president of the association at the time. And my auntie, who's the vice president of the Recording Academy and in that division, in the Atlanta sector, we all had a party or whatever. And mind you, I was 16. I should have been there anyway, but I was cool, right? And I looked old enough because I had a mustache and goatee. So I walked in there and I was sitting back chilling. And I remember he walked through and was kind of like saying what up to everybody, like whatever. I don't know who he was with at the time. I think it was right before he got with Janet. And he came over and said what up. And he like stepped on my foot and I couldn't really see him. And he scuffed up my Timbs. And that was like my favorite pair of Timbs. They were comfortable Timbs. I could have ran a 40 in these bitches.
40.
And he scuffed them up. And I couldn't even get it out. It's suede and nubuck.
Yeah. I'm actually impressed that motherfuckers in Atlanta were wearing Timbs like
Me too.
that.
Yeah.
I was different, as you can imagine. But yeah.
But it's like, what do you do? Like, is Jermaine Dupri?
I just want, look, all I'm saying is I'm not asking for anything, but just a simple, my bad.
He never apologized. He just kept,
Just kept it moving.
Do you know Jermaine Dupri? Do you know JD?
I know people who know JD to get this going. I ran into him a couple of times at Atlanta United games at Red Martini in Atlanta. Yeah.
I mean, how big is how major is JD? Like, who's the most?
JD is like considered like, of course, like
The puff of the South.
yeah,
Is
in
he,
a sense.
is he like the Estefans of Miami?
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
else
but
is
JD,
bigger?
everybody shuts up. I mean,
I would
everybody.
say, Babyface is right there.
No, nobody
think so?
I mean, Babyface is there, but no, he's
Bro,
not.
he ran LaFace Records.
Yeah, but
he
look-
wasn't out there like
Okay,
that.
y'all thinking LaFace? Y'all thinking LaFace? Okay, you talking about a guy that works in the streets of Atlanta, right?
Right.
The mean streets of ATL, which is not really that mean, but it is mean if you look on
SWAT.
paper, right? No, not really SWAT. Buckhead, not nicer. But what I'm saying is, those you see these record labels and we associate. they're not active in the streets like that. I mean, I'm sure they did. No disrespect. Let me go ahead. Preface. Love Babyface, love LaFace, love L.A. Reid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's people from where I come from in this game who you see actually out there in the streets. JD is one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, gotta respect. You know what I'm saying?
Babyface wasn't making Freaknik popping.
Yeah,
like
bro.
that.
No,
I mean,
no. Like, no.
I don't know. When I think of
like Babyface coming to the studio and be like, man, the Freaknik, I gotta make some music.
Let's do some Freaknik.
but like just catalog alone, when I think of Babyface, I think of Outkast and Goody Mob.
Okay, I know you're thinking.
Like I
of
feel
that.
like Jermaine Dupri don't have no rap.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
No street shit.
No disrespect. You're thinking wrong.
D, what are you talking about?
Wait,
I'm still on Babyface.
No, but no,
Walking
man.
into LaFace Records, like everyone stop. Just an urgent meeting. Y'all heard of the Freaknik? We need to start making music for the Freaknik.
No, they're not.
It's really important.
They're
wait,
definitely
isn't JD known for like R&B though? Am I tripping?
No, he produces R&B, but have you heard any like Jermaine Dupri record before?
Yeah, like Life in 1472.
It's commercial rap.
Yeah.
It's not R&B.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
R&B
saying.
would be one of my good friends, Brian Michael Cox.
B Cox.
B Cox.
Yeah.
He's writing some shit.
I just don't associate JD with the streets. That's all.
Well, the thing is, JD is like kind of like right when Mary J. Blige came out and what Diddy did with Jodeci, Uptown Records, he kind of blended hip hop and R&B.
Right.
So he gave like R&B hip hop beats. Like JD is kind of known for doing that. Like, kind of like taking it to the next level. And,
Yeah.
You know,
That's why he's the Diddy of the South.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That makes
saying?
sense.
Because he really and then he actually I think did. You know, they always say do the verses between Diddy and JD. I think they should do that. Would be tough, but because you think Diddy had a lot of hits with a lot of artists that were like smashes, but those artists kind of came and went. You know, when they you know, well, for whatever reason, they either did really good, and then as soon as they left Diddy, you didn't really hear about them doing shit.
Yeah.
But with Jermaine Dupri, they were already established, but they had to get like a JD record. It's like when rappers said, "Oh, I got to get a Primo record, or I got to get a Neptune's record on my album, or I got to get a Timbaland album on my record." They got to get a JD album, a JD track on their record.
I always wondered if 112, the group, would have been different under JD instead of Bad Boy.
I think their sound would have been different.
It would have been very, very different, but I think that what they did. I know Slim kind of through associations. Like I see these cats all the time.
They all live in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, and they're out in the streets, like in Atlanta. Like they go out. Like
they still sound good.
Yeah, he still sounds good. He's a little, got two necks, but he still sounds great. You know what I'm saying?
Two necks.
He's not as slim, but he's still slim. You know what I'm saying? No offense.
Slim is still out there though.
Oh, he's doing the thing. I love Slim. Slim's awesome.
I've
Slim's
seen
awesome.
I've seen him. He's
Two
focused.
Neck Slim.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still out there. He's still focused and he's still.
Nah, they're doing their thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, if a 112 would have been on the JD, that's what Jagged Edge was.
In my opinion, yeah, Jagged Edge was like the
112 of JD's.
Right. That was the Jermaine Dupri answer to Diddy's 112.
Interesting. Well, so like in Atlanta, right? I kind of want to break down Atlanta because we want to make a trip to Atlanta,
right?
Because a lot of motherfuckers say that we don't capture. We don't we need to speak to DJs in Atlanta and like talk to motherfuckers in Atlanta and talk about the scene there because it's one of the major cities that have been a part of hip hop and R&B and music. And it's like we have to acknowledge.
That's why I had to wear the shirt. I said Atlanta's not just hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just. I mean, well, I guess in response,
because you seem really tapped in.
Yeah.
Like, at a young age, you was at the Freaknik. I want to go back to the Freaknik.
Well, I mean, I didn't really start DJing until I was like 26, 27, or 27.
But it sounds like you were just tapped in everywhere.
Yeah, well, I was huge on music, period. Like, be honest with you, when I was growing up, I was the one that got kind of like talk shit about because I would listen to so many different things besides what was it back in Atlanta. But I grew up listening to the same things and kind of adopting the sounds and like what was hot too. Like when I was in middle school, I grew up in Cobb County, which is a suburb of Atlanta. And we used to listen to a lot of like Play a Fly, Pastor Troy, back in the first album, Pastor Troy, 3-6 Mafia, Project Pat. David Banner when he first came out, like a lot of Southern hip hop type shit. Like that was hood shit. But I was always the kind of person that I still listen to a lot of like metal. Like I used to listen to like Limp Bizkit, Korn, Audio Slave, you know, shit like that. So I used to be fond of like all the TRL shit, but I got talked shit about, or I got like teased about liking all the other shit. Like I remember back when Rough Riders albums, compilations used to come out. I used to be the dude that used to have a homeboy of mine used to like this when Napster and LimeWire was out. I used to have him rip all the albums, and I had a teacher in middle school named Mr. Floyd. He used to burn all the albums. I'm talking about like Tila, UGK, all this other shit that I would get on like a bunch of blank CDRs. And I would take these and listen to all the new music on my CD player, burning through batteries and shit. But and back then, high school, I wanted to be a DJ. But then I said this when I was on the podcast with my boy R.O.A.D on Charlotte a while back. It was like a dream deferred DJing for me, because I remember in 10th grade there was a house party one time, and I had all this different music. I listened to all different shit, and I wanted to play like the Exhibits. I wanted to play the Licks. I wanted to play like a bunch of shit from the Icons, Trick Daddy, whatever. But they didn't want to hear that. They wanted to hear just the same old Player Fly and Pastor Troy.
Yeah.
And I remember I got shit talked about me so bad, it discouraged me. And then I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this DJing shit because I don't think that's for me. And I didn't pick this shit back up for 10 years until after I graduated college. And EDM was what got me back into it. But then I realized I was like, it's not just EDM that inspires me, and I could do it, especially in Atlanta, being a hip hop town at the time, trying to get work and trying to make a name for myself. So I grew up on hip hop, but my love to get me DJing was through EDM. So it was like everything just started kind of coming together, from Southern hip hop, New York, West Coast hip hop. But I got into DJing because of EDM and house and everything. And so it just kind of all collectively came together for me eventually. And then finally I just said, fuck it, I'm going to take off.
I think I've never heard someone get discouraged and like not
I did.
Go through
Man,
it with
16. Man, you know why? Because it was this one chick. She was really cute. She had huge ass titties. And I was like, I wanted to get with her so bad. And she was like, nigga, you suck. I was like,
So then
I cried.
So then, what were you doing in the scene for 10 years?
Man, I was in school, party promoting with the Untouchables. Shout out to Tess, Shadow, all them.
So you doing parties and stuff?
I was the door guy at parties. I was the door guy at parties. So
you're like the best door guy ever.
Well, I appreciate that, but I didn't know that. I'm assuming you'd be the perfect guy to be at the door. One of Lil Jon's DJs, DJ R.O.A.D, was actually a DJ, and we had a group back in the day in Georgia State called the Untouchables. And the Untouchables, we had Club Miami. I don't know if you ever heard about that back in the day. We used to get every weekend. We used to get Lil Wayne.
What year is this?
2006, 2010, like that Travis Porter era. Yeah. So we would have Jeezy. Every week we'd have Jeezy. Titty Boy.
I mean, that's a great time for Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh man, it was. We didn't really know what we had when we had it. It was so epic, and we would stay open till 6.
Yeah, you didn't realize that must have been an epic fucking
man. The Laffy Taffy era,
the Snap era. I mean,
Franchise Boys, all of that, man.
Man, it was. We didn't really know what we had when we had it,
and
but
that Jeezy and Gucci shit.
It's just nonstop.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I'm being real with you, like the Jeezy Gucci era didn't really hit until I got to college. So I graduated 2005. That's when it really popped up, because we knew about the Snowman mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But when Thug Motivation came out, I want to say I was already graduated by then from high school, and I took a year off before I went, tried to go to Auburn and South Carolina, and that didn't work out, trying to play football. But I ended up going to Georgia State, just kind of like, I got to be in school. I'm gonna be left behind. I want to be that guy. Mm-hmm. Social peer pressure. I was like,
what was the first record to cross over from like Atlanta, like from that period, from that era? I think it was Laffy Taffy.
I want to say, Laffy Taffy.
Because I remember being in New York in 2005, I think, and I would try to fit that record into the set,
right?
But there was nothing else in that BPM.
Right.
You think
that 78, that's 75, 78, right? Yeah.
You don't think none of the early T.I. stuff like Rubber Band Man?
That could. No,
like 24.
Lil Jon has some joints with
Snap Finger and
but you couldn't really play all like it was very limited, man.
Yeah.
But it was like maybe like a handful of 4 to 5 records maybe you could throw out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, you couldn't play Lil Jon in every room in New York at the time. I remember that.
Nah, you can't. And I mean, trust me, I've tried and failed miserably.
Yeah, because like imagine me playing B.I.
in New York City
in PM. they would be like,
You serious?
It wouldn't
because
really
I remember
go
Funkmaster Flex used to play that shit on the
yeah,
radio.
but that's hip hop radio, like on an open format.
It wasn't okay.
like in
I
a
see.
room like that.
You know what happened? T.I.'s his greatest work was his first 2 albums, that I'm Serious album and Trap Music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't really get recognized until Bring 'Em Out came out. But we all in Atlanta. Here's the thing: Atlanta was on his own vibe. It always has been, as you can probably assume. But it was on its own vibe back then when I'm Serious and Trap Music came, especially Trap Music, the song, like that them pianos was hitting. Man, please.
That bass line?
That bass. Oh God.
Because I think in New York,
Just doing my job. That song. What? Well, we would play that for football games to get hype in high school. But he didn't really. He didn't have that new. They didn't start calling him like the possible Jay-Z of the South until Bring 'Em Out came out.
No, because I had a homeboy that played. Not played. He went to Morehouse.
Yeah.
When he would come back to LA in the summer, he'd be like, "Bro, there's this song called White Tee.
White Tee,
It's going crazy right now."
Yep.
I remember it was that Franchise Boys, right? And then the remix with JD.
Yeah. But Black Tee was also
the
a
one
hit
with
too.
Gucci, right?
Yeah. Black Tee was also another one too.
Yeah.
That was the response to White
that was
Tee.
that whole era, right? Because I think
I slang in my white tee. I bang in my white.
Because we were all also playing. I think one of the first records we were playing from the South was also.
What about Yin and Twins? Wait, the Whisper song.
I remember
that was later.
I'm gonna tell you about that Whisper song. Memory for me, core memory was I was at Cascade Skating Rink and I saw this girl with a fat old ass and some like gray sweatpants, and she was twerking and the shit fell down and she had no drawers on, and that was just somewhat of a core memory for me about like how dope that song was. Just they didn't give a shit. It just as soon as it comes on, they just lose all sense of like.
But Wait was like way after a bunch of shit. Like that was like their fourth single that hit. Like
Salt Shaker.
No, I'm talking like early. I'm talking early, like when Little Flip was the shit. That was like when like Game Over. Yeah,
Game Over was a hit.
So then it was. I remember it was Game Over, and then it was Rubber Band Man because it was like, oh shit, now we can play these. We can play these two together.
Yeah.
You know, remember that shit, right? And then that was like the only 2 records, and then all this other shit started popping out from like Mike Jones and all this other shit.
Yeah, that's
and that was like
David Banner,
all that shit started slowly coming in.
Shawty Low.
This is what we started feeling like in New York. I think. It was just slowly starting to hit. And before that, it was maybe, just Juvie, right?
Really? Yeah. Like Master P
Cash
was
Money
kind of
Click?
fading out. So it was all Juvie.
Whoa, hold on. Before that though, there was definitely No Limit Records though.
Oh yeah.
No Limit was hard. Like when I was in middle school, like I'm talking about like 98, 2001.
So because what was you playing from No Limit though? Like It Ain't My Fault.
Make them say
Make them say
That wasn't even.
Make them say was the jam.
That was like playing. That was. I don't even know if that was really playing. In
That
New
was
York.
playing.
Yeah.
I was playing heavy in LA.
No. Not the. They could say
It Ain't My
No,
Fault.
it was.
it was that
About It. About It was kind of getting
Bout It,
played.
Bout It. I
on
mean,
the
because
radio.
Actually, Make Them Say was being played in New York.
It was
at the
right.
time. It was.
It
yeah.
was.
Well, Bout It got big after Dipset got in. They did the remix part 3.
No. It was still like it was still one of those weird records that they would drop in New York on Hot 97.
Yeah.
But everyone would be like, "Yo, what is this shit?" You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. Like the South just never really like we appreciated where I was from. It wasn't until like I got older and you step out in different. When I started doing what I was doing, as obviously DJing, you step out in other markets later on towards the later 2010s.
Yeah.
And I started to really realize I was like, oh, we grew up with like thinking this was the shit, and people didn't realize how much impact this made on us as Southerners.
But I feel
You know
like
what I'm saying?
wasn't it just regular shit, or did you guys feel like all these records are really blowing up and it was surprising? Was it surprising for y'all that this shit was blowing up?
Nah, bro, not really. I mean, because it came from it was
regular shit.
It was like it's like all right, if you go to New York, you already know you're gonna get you a chopped cheese. That's like a home,
Right.
That's the home comfort item.
just
meal.
regular shit.
right to you. But for us, it was trap rappers.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's why we got so accustomed to that back then. At that time, and then like I said, for me, I loved it all. But I was also when I go home, I'm still listening to all the TRL hits. You know what I'm saying? So then eventually, like I said, I get to 2006, 2010. I start getting into more like the popular dance music type shit. I already did love all the old shit from like Robin S. and from like what's that guy? I can't even think of the name. Real McCoy, like all those old dance records and shit like that. But once I started really getting into those, started embracing it, and there's no like peer pressure to, oh, you listen to that gay boy music. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it just all started to come together once, about 2010, 2011. Then it was a matter of just like, do I want to make a decision to try to like and pursue this? Because at the time I was just acting and getting a degree in criminal justice, and just like I said, doing party promotions, throwing parties for hip hop parties on the weekend, working the door guy. Like I was just known as Gomez the door guy. But
Gomez the door guy.
Gomez the door guy. But I was always the gatekeeper, all that, and it was like, people try to get cool with you just because that, but that's all I was at the time. But I always just kind of still had in the back of my mind until finally I got the confidence again from that 10th grade experience to say, you know what, that was don't let that hold you back from just pursuing what your heart telling you to do. And then straight up.
That sounds really rehearsed. Like you've been practicing.
No, that's just that's just what it was. Like people think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, that's just what happened. Like
I know.
Like shit.
That's quite a bio. I like it. The way he just shifted it. That was a great segue to his life story. Was there a lot of was there a big dance scene in
was or is?
I don't know.
There was, I would say, there is still a dance scene. It's kind of gone through a trough right now.
Because assuming if there's a dance scene, there's a big gay scene. There's a big gay club scene.
Oh man, please, man, it's heavy, but they just don't talk about it because Atlanta's black gay, not gay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hear no knock or disrespect when I say that. No, but it's black gay, not more than just gay.
Okay.
I'm not gay, but obviously, I'm very fluent what's going on.
Yeah.
But I can say I bet you I can get anybody to agree with that. It's
well,
more
I'm curious. I never hear about a dance scene out there.
No, like there is. There definitely is, and that's why I wear this shirt said Atlanta ain't just hip hop.
Right.
Like there's a strong Latin scene.
Right.
Strong.
I've
dance
heard things
scene.
about the Latin scene.
Yeah. There's a very strong Latin scene.
I heard no one gets along in the Latin scene.
That's not necessarily.
I heard
true.
like they all kind of beef.
No,
that's what I heard.
I don't think they beef. What it is that Atlanta's so spread out. Like
maybe they're territorial.
Geographically, it's spread out, and there's it's almost like saying there's Gwinnett Latinos, and then there's like Buckhead Latinos, and then there's everybody else.
Gwinnett. What's the difference between Gwinnett and
Gwinnett County is like you go towards Migos from Gwinnett.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying.
I didn't know that, but
they're from Gwinnett.
Okay,
right? So they're not from Atlanta, but they're from Atlanta. Does it make sense? Because it's part of the metropolitan Atlanta area.
Yeah.
But you go to like Gwinnett. Let's say you go to. They have like lounges. Like you go up like in Duluth. There's a bunch of Asians, so they have like a bunch of those karaoke lounges and shit. And they still be doing bottle service, but the bottles be like $125 or something like that. Right. And people just be buying. Like you can basically like spend low and live it high in those lounges, but you never hear about them because they're in suburb areas. Same thing happens when you go to the Latino areas where there'll be like a bunch of hardcore Mexicans hanging in one spot, hardcore Dominicans in one spot, but they all kind of come together, especially with the emergence of Latin music just exploding where it is now.
Yeah.
So there's not so much like diversity in it. It's more of assimilation amongst all the Latino groups.
Yeah, they gather together.
Right. But then
there's Dominicans in Atlanta?
Man, Dominicans, really? Venezuelans, Costa Ricans.
Well, who's the dominant
Mexicans?
Mexicans?
I mean, it depends on where you go. You go to Beaufort, you can see a bunch of Mexicans. They got a lot of Colombians. They got a lot of, the Latinos are just everywhere. They got new spots that are building in these other suburb areas.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Two-story, 5,000 square foot venues.
Yeah.
That are going on out there that are really popping off, and they sell out and get like they really come together. And a lot of Asians, the Asian communities, they're not even all like, usually there's like Hmongs or Vietnamese or Japanese or Koreans.
Yeah.
But they all, no matter, you're just Asian, you're one of us. So they all come together, and then they be turning up to like the Jeezys and the Moneybag Yos, and they be buying nothing but Hennessy nonstop from the tap. You know what I'm saying? But they be doing it at the karaoke lounges until they felt like, you know what, it's somebody's big birthday, we got to celebrate. So then we gonna go to Atlanta, go turn up and go buy bottles there. Okay. But they stick together. You know what I'm saying? And they'll go see like any other Asian DJ that does like my boy Jay Envy, who's the Falcons DJ or was Falcons DJ, Weapons, or Baby U. Baby U was DJ Amigo's DJ.
Right.
So they go support all the time. They stick together really tight. But everybody does get along. I don't really see this. We don't get along shit. That's a fallacy.
Oh, that's what I heard.
It's a fallacy.
Yeah?
I'm here to tell you it's a fallacy.
Okay.
Now they all stick together. Like I said,
heard
you
behind the
kind of know where they go to on. Oh, it's Friday. Oh, we know we're gonna see him in Tongue and Groove. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you already know what's up.
No, I heard there's a little like, competition beef. Like,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
but at the end of the day, it's Atlanta versus everybody else too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how they ain't gonna talk about it.
I mean, that's the only way it works.
Right. But that's the thing is like, I know y'all probably hear it this way, but I'm telling you, it's not like people think. It's not also is like all the good things people think too, but we ain't trying to be negative here. We're trying to be positive.
Yeah.
No.
And trying to go ahead and just, give Atlanta another.
I feel like Atlanta is always the motherfuckers who are like willing to work with each other, if anything. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Even with the music or anything.
For the most part, I mean, there's egos. There's still people that, just on some dumb shit.
Wait, but I want to hear more about this dance scene.
Uh-huh.
Was there a dance scene in the 90s or 2000s or not really?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know because again,
You weren't exposed to
it. I wasn't really exposed to that at the time.
So what dance scene did you see emerge from? What did you witness?
Remember
the EDM shit?
Remember back when Neo started doing a lot of that house shit?
Yeah.
That's when I started noticing it started to kind of leak over into the crowds, but it was very, very slow.
Right.
For me, at least. Again, I was at Georgia State. 2000, like I said, 2000. This is when Lil Wayne took over music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was a huge Lil Wayne fan because I was like, I was a believer in Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. I started seeing, things kind of like end up where.
What year was that, do you think? Because
2000 and
when Wayne took over, 05, 06 to like
Okay.
09.
I remember
2009, 2010, something like that.
I think I remember I DJ'd at Opera.
Opera. Yeah, that's called
Back
Domain
in the
now.
day. What's it called?
Domain.
Domain?
Yeah, I'm there now. I'm one of the guys over there now too.
Yeah, and they would flip flop. They'd be like more EDM. They'd be like heavy EDM one night when I get there, and then they'd be like, no, a little bit more hip hop now. And
Yeah. I went through that at Gold Room.
Gold Room. Oh man,
it would be like one time it would be heavy EDM, and then one night it might be like during football season,
right,
whatever.
And it'd be like different promoters, but the same old, like AG and all that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Atlanta has a lot more that people don't know about that pops off, but they just don't hear about it because they hear about the Futures, the Migos, even if you're local, you hear about Pastor Troy's, the JDs, you know what I'm saying? They hear about these artists that always either go another like Lil Uzi Vert from Philly, but then largely is associated with Atlanta because he got with DJ Drama, who also is not from Atlanta, but is an Atlanta DJ technically per se.
Yeah.
And it's based out of that. So people come there to get refined. Their sound, to get their sound, their brand, their image refined with Atlanta's culture from where they went to, and then they take it somewhere else. That's why they say Atlanta influences everything.
No, it's true.
Because it's like they go to school, like they did over at Morehouse.
Yeah.
They go to school from LA, DC, Minnesota, Seattle. We go to the Spelman Morehouse. They go over there, get their education, but then also they adopt the culture as well.
Right.
And then they're reformed by that, and they take Atlanta with them to other places. And it's so impactful and strong that Atlanta influences everything.
No, we had, you don't know if you know DJ Charisma, but we had her on and she said one of the best things YG ever did was move to Atlanta.
Yeah. And I didn't even know he was in Atlanta. That's so crazy.
But that's like
I
when
never knew that.
My Hitter came out. Like those records were heavy.
And that's
on
an
it.
Atlanta type of record.
Exactly.
I never even knew he was there. And I've largely kept my ears to the
Why
street.
You Always Hating, like them records. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah.
But then also I see people that, like I didn't, like when I met Payne, like I didn't know he was living in Atlanta.
T-Pain.
Yeah. T-Pain. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just letting our audience
The name drop.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's not you. I'm just letting
the legend
them
is
know.
Future, Payne, T-Pain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you met T-Pain, and you're on his podcast, right?
I was on his podcast. I got fired.
You got fired.
I don't know. You have to ask him.
The Nappy Dugout.
Nappy Boy Radio Podcast.
Nappy
I think
Boy
I got
Radio?
fired. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. I love him. We're
You got
cool.
fired?
I think so. You have to ask
Wait,
him.
He doesn't even know.
I don't even know. It's, just being honest. I love him. I'm just saying, I don't know. One day I just like, hey, look, stop getting calls. I was like, hey, what happened, man? Like we're good, right? Yeah, I want you to come on the tour. All right, cool, great.
You and T-Pain kind of talk alike a little bit.
People say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that slang. Like I can't
And we
pick
are
up with it.
not. We just, if you let him tell it, he would tell you that. Oh, by the way, you want to know how we met?
Yeah.
We met at a spot called Hangovers in Buckhead, Atlanta. And Hangover, it was on a Tuesday night. And I had a residency over there where upstairs was open format, and then bottom was nothing but house music, like basement, underground, like hard, like bass house, techno, shit like that. One of my partners, who I came up with, you're gonna hear about him real soon, named Vatilis. He has a movement called Parillo 404. He already done sold out theaters with the Latino movement. Like, it's crazy. Parillo Power movement. Me and him were doing a back-to-back set, and every time we got together, it always used to pack it out because people support us locally all the time. So this was back in 2017, and I remember we was just rocking or whatever, and then all of a sudden they move a section, and we were like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then they was like, "Oh, we got a major celebrity coming through," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So we're just DJing nothing but straight house music, like just going in, and then all of a sudden we see Pain come through, and I'm like, wait, is that T-Pain? I was like I'm Sprung T-Pain. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Like, why is he here listening to all this like underground house music, right?
Yeah.
And he was listening, and then I remember I got on, and then we were swapping back like every like 15 minutes, just really it was super packed, hot, crazy. And then he was watching us DJ, and when I hopped on, he was like, bro, like you killed, like I've never heard nobody do nothing like that. So he's like, yo, take my number. Let me get some of these remixes. I like what you do. You sound like a cool dude. I was like, yeah, no problem. Now I'm thinking, okay.
What year was this?
2017. 2017.
Pretty recent then.
Summer of 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just remember, like, I gave him my number. I was like, all right, cool. And I sent him the remixes he asked for, because me and Vatilis actually worked on a trap remix from both by Gucci and Drake. And I happened to just throw it in there. And it just was crazy because it was like, I was like, this is T-Pain. Like, I remember, like, trying to go ahead and finger bang chicks to this damn I'm Sprung in 2005. Like, this is crazy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh, okay. Like, that's just like, oh, okay. He wants my number. I was like, all right. And I didn't think nothing, because I've gotten celebrities, info. They'll hit me back next day. Hey, bro, what's up with the remixes? And I was like, all right, yeah, I got you. No problem. Boom. Send it to him. All right, cool. And we just was sending memes back and forth. Wasn't even on no, like, it wasn't even on like, hey,
you got sprung pretty quick.
No, but sure, let's go with that. But we was cool. Like, honestly, I didn't really hear from him like on no like it was just random shit. And then like it was like a year or something later. Matter of fact, actually, 2018 hits around. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna give you my new number." I was like, "All right, bet. I'm gonna give it to you in 5 minutes." I said, "All right, bet." It took him 5 months to hit me back. I was like, he's like, "Hey, Amigo." I was like, "Who is this?" He's like, "It's Pain." I said, "Pain who?" And he was like, "Oh, T-Pain." I was like, "Oh, where the fuck you been, dude? Like, what the fuck?" He's like, "Oh man, my bad, man. I changed my number. Shit happened. I don't know. It just, shit got carried away. But hey, what's good with you?" I was like, "I mean, you tell me. You've been gone for 5 months. You still gonna give me a number in 5 minutes?" After that, I remember I went to a few weeks later, I'm at a fashion show, and he's at a strip club, and I checked in on his IG live just saying, "Hey, what up?" And he was like, "Amigo, pull up." And then after that, I just pulled up, and then we just kind of became like hangout buddies, and was hanging out since then.
Wow.
Yeah. Man. And then there was just that before. And this is before got to like the tour and working on the podcast. We were just homies, just chilling. He was just cool peoples.
Damn, and when did he ask you to come on this podcast, or did he start with you?
He was drunk as shit, and he was drunk as shit right before he did his one-up tour in 2019. And I'll never forget, he tried to get my attention, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was looking at some girl's ass or something like that. As I was walking by in the crowd or something like that, and he smacked me in the face like this. I was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" I'm gonna smack him back. And he was like, "Listen, we gotta shoot this podcast." And he was drunk. He's like, "We're gonna call it the Face Ass Podcast." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." He sobers up. He calls me back. "Hey, don't forget, we got to shoot the Face Ass Podcast. We got to come up with a different name for it." And I was like, "Oh, he's really for real about this." And then we just started saying, "Hey, let's try to go work on it." So it took time. We ended up finally getting together. At the original cast he had was Foxy, who was his assistant at the time. She was the other, kind of like the female balance. He brought me in, and in the first episode we finally got to shoot in the summer of 2019 was with Hannibal Buress. And then we shot it at that point, and then it just took, he was trying to find a time to like make it streamlined. So we didn't really shoot that often, but what we did shoot And he posted it up on the initial episodes. He posted the first ever episode. He didn't really know what to do, what we're doing at the time. We didn't really have it kind of down packed, but it
wasn't like scheduled or like structured.
Nah, right? It was just really just like on the just kind of spur of the moment type of shit. Right. But I mean, it was obviously a ton of fun. We were having a good time, talking shit.
Right.
Hannibal, and because he always said that he wanted to make sure that we always have these weird, crazy conversations and with cool ass people and cool ass artists and friends, but we need to record these. And he just said that's what he wants to do. And so he's friends with a lot of different people from different industry level, different types of industries. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean,
both you guys are both like very charismatic.
Thank you.
And then you're very like you're not very confrontational. You guys are very like mellow.
Not very confrontational at all.
But that's what's similar about you guys. So if someone's flipping the fuck out, you guys have the same energy. I'll be like, hey
man, y'all figured I ain't got time for that shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you guys got the same kind of like smiling and be like, I don't know what y'all talking. I don't know why you're flipping out kind of shit.
I think that's why that's why we do get along. But I know I get on his nerves time to time.
Well,
absolutely.
Why did he fire you though?
I don't know. You got to ask him whenever he comes on here. No, I say that in a laugh and funny way, but honestly, there was a couple it was a lot of scheduling stuff. You know what I mean? Because again, as a DJ, I busted my ass to try to build a lot of relationships and build the brand and name that I had in Atlanta.
Yeah, and
there was a lot of times we would record just artists because it was trying to get out the ground. It wasn't as much structure as it is now.
Yeah,
and and again, I say this out of full love and respect for where I came from it and everything, but just like there was a lot of times where it's like it's the day of, we got to come in, and I'm like, hey, I can't find coverage to cover this gig to make sure I'm over there. And of course, I don't, still had bills to pay, and
so it'd be like Saturday night at midnight.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday nights mostly when it happened. But then finally around the time that it, we would try. I was like, I can't. It's hard to just shoot those relationships down.
Yeah,
I don't have no. Like I'm DJing full time. That's what I do. What I'm saying? I'm making a great living for myself doing it. But if I ruin that, then I'm like having to repair relationships I spent years trying to build up. Mm-hmm. And that's just, if you're as open as DJs working in every level, everybody in here has done rooms I aspire to be into. Y'all know that can really cut, take the rug up under you. Mm-hmm. And, I did talk to him a couple times, but it was like, hey, look, I'm here to be, you asked me to at its infancy when you created this thing to be a part of it. But it just got to a point where I think he just had to make a decision to see by who can be more available.
Yeah.
And it just happened. So it's not like a bad, thing. Like, honestly, I want to start my own podcast. I was going to save that for more of like a shout out thing. And he's definitely down to support me and be on it and, shit like that. So it's all, like I said, he's my homie, man. We're friends and we're good. It's just one of those things where I would have loved to be back on it, but just the timing of it, he had to kind of make a move for what he thought was in the best interest of his podcast. Just because, he signed that deal. I guess he had a deal with Podcast One or to put out the content. Mm-hmm. And it's hard when it's like, hey, we got to worry about if you going to be able to make it or not because we're going to spur the moment. But then after that happened, it was more structured. But at that point, he already kind of made the decision to go forward with it.
Right.
So it just happened. Shit just happened. But at the same time, I still went on tour with him. We still.
I was going to ask you, do you tour with him regularly?
Not necessarily. Actually, to tell you the truth, I got asked by his artist, Young Cash, to go on the tour. He didn't ask me. Basin Dane was an artist out of Australia, rapper. Love him to death, man. He was supposed to be on tour, but he didn't get his visa approved on time to go on tour. So there was an empty space that was filled. I wasn't going to go on that tour. I was just like, okay, they're moving without me, whatever. But Young Cash, who's his artist and VP, we ended up meeting at a pool party in April, right, like maybe 3 weeks before the tour went off. And he said, yo, are you available for the tour? I was like, I can be. You know what I mean? Like, that'll be a once in a lifetime experience. Like, why not? And he said, okay, I think I want you to be my DJ on the tour. I was like, okay, let me make my arrangements. Let me go ahead and get my affairs in order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just did that and was like, all right, let me get the approval. It took about a week. I was like, okay, they're really about to do this, whatever. And then I finally got the call. I was like, yeah, next week we leave for San Francisco. We start. Let's go. I was like, all right, let's go. So that's just how that happened.
Yeah, because I was talking with Nev and we were wondering if you were like his regular tour DJ or
no,
you just went on
his
a couple
show DJ
tours?
is DJ Monte, the legend himself. Yeah. Like I said, because he saw me, he met me DJing a certain way. He actually wanted me, we actually in talks, and we still probably talking about doing it. We wanted to kind of start more of like a DJ agency, but we build off of the relationships he's built. But it's also just taking more like logistics wise and how we can have that communication. Because if you haven't noticed his brand, he has Nappy Boy Gaming, Nappy Boy Automotive, Nappy Boy Music, Nappy Boy. He ventures into different things.
Yeah,
with Nappy
he's
Boy
in a
brand.
lot of shit.
But his brand is Nappy Boy version of whatever.
Right.
Because he has a love for DJing.
So it's
I
gonna
was
be
gonna say, like, he was DJing for a while, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
was.
He
He
was
did-
coming to Vegas, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he did the light. He was doing light.
Yeah, he was doing
Light,
Yeah,
Yeah, he was definitely doing light.
Was he DJing for himself?
He did both. He DJed once. Well, one time I was there, he DJed, and other times he performed.
Right.
And I actually DJ. I played the music for him the times he performed.
Yeah.
I remember I went one time expecting him to perform, and he was DJing, and I was like, "Oh, he's doing a DJ set."
Yeah. He DJs sometime. Yeah.
Was that around the time when like all the producers were like DJing?
Yeah, like Wiz was doing Tao. He was going on, what was it, DJ Daddy Cat or something like that?
What? Wait,
Something
so
like
it was
Snoop was DJing.
yeah,
Shaq.
Snoop, Metro Boomin,
Southside was DJing.
Mustard,
Yeah.
all these
Mustard,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Was
Yeah,
started
and they
DJing.
came from like Paris Hilton. I saw. Did Mariah Carey have a DJ set?
Oh, I don't know, but
don't know about
Paris Hilton definitely did. Actually,
Oh yeah, we know that one.
But I wonder what started that wave of like these rappers having to DJ. Like,
Paris Hilton.
Nah.
I
don't know.
I'm wondering if it was because Vegas couldn't book a hip hop act.
so that was their way in.
Like, because the Vegas, the thing is, like, it was very anti hip hop for a while.
Okay.
So they couldn't have
I believe
hip hop
that.
acts on the strip. So if they're like, we can't have this motherfucker perform, he could DJ.
You know who was the
Right.
first artist?
Yeah.
Kid Rock.
Yeah, and he can actually DJ though.
Yeah.
Nah, but that's different. That was like,
I mean, that was the beginning of the artist. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, the
DJ.
artist become
Started
being the DJ for that.
Yeah, but that was
particular-
like a separate thing because then all these guys from like what it was called,
Yeah, the dude from Good Charlotte was DJing.
yeah,
Like, it
the
was-
guy
yeah.
from Good Charlotte was DJing. What's the other fucking emo punk bands from that era? Fuck.
Good Charlotte. No, not Good Charlotte.
Who's the guy that was married? Who was married to Ashley Simpson for a minute?
Ashley Simpson?
Pete Wentz.
Pete Wentz.
Yeah.
Pete Wentz.
Well, what's
Yeah.
the group?
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. So like Fall Out Boy would be over there, but that was a completely different era.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when hip hop started coming back.
Like are you talking about like 2015?
Yeah, they
That
were
time.
like they weren't booking the live acts. They were booking.
I feel like I would say Mustard was like the first.
But he was a DJ.
Mustard was a DJ.
yeah. Then all of these rappers started coming out DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like I was wondering why are they coming out as DJing, and is because they couldn't book them as live acts at the time. Maybe
I
don't
think
know.
so. The first I remember was really like Snoop, Wiz.
Snoop and Wiz, and then
Yeah.
by 2008, when were they having like YG and fucking
YG was way later than that, Kirk.
yeah, but that was much later, right?
Yeah.
So I
YG
feel like they
came
had
out
to
in 2010.
yeah, so it definitely was because they couldn't have a live hip hop
Yeah.
act, and they had to have like a hip hop like
DJ,
Like a presence.
yeah,
AKA.
like a DJ was
Yeah.
okay, but a live act was not
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's what started the whole shit.
I think so.
And that was way before like that whole artist performance at a club type of shit. It was always just DJing.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah. So,
And then One Oak started having like YG
Yeah.
and like
2
fucking
Chainz.
yeah.
Yeah.
and the Panda dude, what's his name, Designer.
Yeah.
Yeah, started coming out. OT Genesis started
OT,
coming out.
yeah.
Man.
I remember that.
I met him at Wisconsin Fest. He's a cool dude. I like OT.
OT Genesis.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember when he dropped. There was like this. Is he from LA? Is he from New York?
Yeah.
Is he from Brooklyn? Is he from Miami?
I don't know, but
Yeah, he's from LA.
we love the cocoa.
Yeah, Coco was good.
The
That's the thing. It sounded like it was something from the South.
Man, I'm telling you, Atlanta influences everything, man. I'm telling you. Hey, look, y'all can get enough. Now listen to me. I'm telling y'all.
What's the difference? So, like, do you consider yourself an open format DJ or?
Yeah, I fought it for a while. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I fought that idea because eventually I wanted to be like EDM and house. That's what got
What do
me.
you like about EDM? What?
I was a house music dude all
Yeah?
day. I'm still am. But
Wow.
I think that's what got me wanting to DJ, to learn how to DJ. The energy of the raw energy of dance crowds.
Right.
you rage when you DJ. I've seen your videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
You're like jumping up and down.
Oh no, I'm with you because I was the fan. That's what inspired, like Swedish House Mafia when they was on the way out of the first time before they got that 2012 era. That's what got me inspired to want to do this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I know they were doing like that lane, I didn't know then, but that's what initially got me started to want to learn how to DJ. And I eventually, started trying to DJ like house and everything, but I was like, I start also learning most of these cats are producing, not just DJing. And then it was just this kind of like this happening where it was like, okay, you still got to know what to do to deliver it, but they're creating the messages and delivering it. You're just kind of taking the messages and delivering them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. But I felt like I was really more good at delivering the messages and creating the messages at the time. So I just kind of was realizing, again, I'm in Atlanta. You find the scenes that are there, but those scenes are real segregated. Like it's like the big popular EDM, like they go with what's popular. The big EDM back in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
They're, but this is before Chain. I remember seeing Chainsmokers when they were at like Tongue and Groove, and now they're like, you can't even get them anywhere outside of a stadium.
Damn, Tongue and Groove was a spot too.
It still is.
They still open, right?
Yeah, it's still 20-something years in the game, 26 years in the game. But there's other spots like Havana Club that's been for like 26 years that I've been a resident. I came out of Havana Club.
Yeah.
And they booked Snoop. They booked Snoop to DJ. They've had Carnage before he retired as Carnage, became Gordo. They've had Sick Individuals. They've had Grand Theft. I mean, but nobody hears about them because they're kind of just operate more locally than they do outside. But if you go in there, like some of the videos you've seen, those been in the Havana Club.
Wow.
And they constantly get a lot of those new crop of like EDM raver kids that finally got old enough, and they come in there and they flock into these to the building because that's what kind of accepts them. They're not being too particular. And then it's a different crowd. It could be a hip hop crowd, or urban crowd, black crowd, or it could be an Indian Bollywood crowd, Latin. And they have like 3 rooms. Like they had one room was like an EDM room, a Latin room, and a main room. And every night, on a Saturday, Friday night, it'd be packed out, easy. And I came out of there learning from cats that was in there. Well, one of them, Baby Drew, who's one of my brothers, one of my good friends.
Wow. So like the dance scene out there right now, how is it? Is it healthy? Because there's been so many big EDM songs in the past 2 to 3 years.
It's become, how like when rock music was like the it shit in the 80s, and then hip hop came and it kind of just took a back seat.
Yeah.
I
Maybe I would say like the late 90s.
What would you say?
2000s,
Okay, let me ask you this question. What would y'all say would be like the it genre right now?
It's
It's
between
genre right now.
Shit.
I would say
Latin. Yeah.
Latin, but what type of Latin? That's the question.
Reggaeton.
Reggaeton, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Now, before that, what was it before that?
hip
It
hop.
was hip hop.
Hip hop.
I'd say maybe.
Trap hip hop.
Prior to that,
Okay. Dance scene is kind of like where trap hip hop is right now. Like it took a back seat. Like it got so common, people don't have an appreciation for it because it's so expected now.
so it went from the main room to the side room.
But it still is prevalent in the main room if you're John Summit, or if you're Tiesto with the big hit, or whatever the big popular shit is. But now it's kind of wide open.
There isn't a big local scene. Right?
It
has to be
the
like
bubble bursted.
It has to be like a big ticket sale draw.
And it will, and it will. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely like any big EDM act that comes through, it's popping. Like it sells out. There's a vibrant scene. People from all different walks of life in Atlanta will come to support it. Like you'll be hood folks at a Flostradamus show that's a 360 like underground techno version of it, because they actually did that at Believe Music Hall. Or like I said, if a Diplo comes in town, or we got Side Piece, which is Party Favor and Nitty Gritty. They're coming in town. That's going to be a popping ass show,
Right.
But it's just they've already had their identity. And opposed to everybody embracing it in one city at one time, the scene that big, it's just a small core group that constantly like goes to that scene.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's multiple different spots that do, like Domain mostly does like house acts. Like we've had like Domain Old Opera now.
Yeah.
Domain. They've had Black Coffee, Adventure Club,
Wow.
Dead Mouse. I've personally opened for Henry Fong, Sick Kick, Cat Dealers, and Pauly D.
Wow. You open for Sick Kick?
Sick Kick, yeah. Saw his face too, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is.
Well, isn't he? He's like an Indian guy, right? He's the singer.
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Okay.
But let's just say I can't confirm nor deny
All right.
that.
But he's a talented dude.
Yeah, I see what he does.
But he's not. He just doesn't DJ.
Well, he got a bad.
I've seen how he does it.
Right.
And it's like, oh.
Well, yeah. From what I've heard, it's all pre-mixed.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's a show. Like everyone loves it, right?
Oh,
Oh, that's what it is. Got it.
I've heard a lot of shit about Sick Kick.
Yeah.
You know?
oh.
But he gets booked a lot.
He does.
He does.
And he was getting a lot of backlash out here in Vegas.
Was he?
Booked so much.
Where was he at in Vegas?
He was doing the Virgin Hotel.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Aaliyah Beach Club?
Aaliyah Beach Club.
Oh,
Aaliyah Beach
okay,
Club.
okay,
Yeah. Shout out
okay.
to Ethan who
Yeah.
was there.
Oh, yeah,
I met
that's
Ethan through Romeo. Yeah, that was the homies. Yeah, he's good peoples, man.
Yeah.
But Sick Kick. Oh,
I don't think he was
he's
getting
good. I
backlash,
love
but-
Sick Kick. He was cool peoples, but
DJs were calling him out. Like
Yeah,
posting
DJ. The
videos.
thing is,
Yeah.
DJs were calling him out. People were calling him out. But in the end, like everyone who booked him is happy.
Yeah.
because it translates.
listen.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
It translates to ticket sales.
No, he gave I put it this way because you're as an opener.
Yeah.
I DJed for 3 hours straight before he hopped on.
Yeah.
and he hopped on for like
45 minutes.
50.
Yeah.
But as soon as he got off, I hopped back on and closed it. They thought that was my show in Atlanta. They were like, "No, you killed it." No disrespect to what he did, but I was the one picking the energy up in the room. He was doing this thing that people came to see, but the energy largely was like, "Oh
Right.
man," you know what I'm saying? And that kind of helped.
And so it doesn't translate live what he does on TikTok or Instagram.
No, it translates in ticket sales because they see what it is and they want to see it live, and so
Right.
they'll be there in attendance. But when
But it probably loses its luster after 20 minutes.
it's very creative.
Yeah.
I'll be and I say this just being honest as a fan.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually a fan of what he does. It's just not high energy, but it's very creative. It's very good. Like I'd wish I had that skill. I seen what he did too, how he does it too, and I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing there. It's pretty creative.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I seen how
can you
he-
explain. Like,
Okay, well, look, y'all not gonna get me blacklisted or anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this anyway.
Yeah.
It's like you run a loop and you dance around the loop.
Oh, okay.
But
is he doing it live?
Yeah, on the S9.
So it's more of a performance.
Okay, yeah. It's like a perform. Yeah,
50 minutes he performing. Everybody looking and see.
everybody's
look.
Yeah,
Then when he's done, you get on and you bring the energy up and
But
boom.
you're right. But when you see it, like I seen it, and I'm from like the backstage to how it was working, and I have a good keen eye and wherewithal about how to operate any type of setup. And when I was seeing the S9, of course, which is I think the standard for 6-7 years now at this point, or besides the S11 now, but I seen it and I was like, oh, okay. Now I see like kind of like, because there was a lot of criticism that's open. People talked about it. But I seen what he did and I'm like, oh, okay. There's a lot of cues
Right.
around a loop that goes, but you still have to perform. And I know that because I remember when I was on tour, I went from being able to be a club DJ that can DJ to a max of about 500,000-800,000 people in the club to 2,500, 3,000 people looking at you like, okay, you need to entertain us. When I was on tour. So I can understand the showmanship about it and what the preparation you need to put into it.
Yeah.
And giving a show versus you in a club where everybody has alcohol, fine ass women, distractions left and right, and you're just providing the soundtrack for their experience.
I mean, it's hard to hate on it completely.
No, it's no hate about it.
Well,
It's just different.
The thing is, it's hard to hate on it completely if you're in nightlife because in the end, if it's packing the club out
Right.
on a Friday night,
Right.
Bringing the
then
shows.
it's just kind of worth it. Otherwise,
Right.
like any other DJ with skills or who knows how to work a room,
Right.
they can't bring in the ticket sales that Sick can.
And like even like one of my first ex-girlfriend doesn't listen to no EDM, nothing. And this was like, she told me she was a fan. We were friends, we're still cool, but she hits me and tells me like, what's that guy? He's on TikTok with the mask on and
Right,
everything.
right.
Yeah. And so she knows it. And that's where the tickets come from.
Yeah.
You're crossing over people who not even really fans of this particular style, but they see what you do and they like it and they like go on TikTok, and that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's any less skilled than us. He just doesn't. He can't just hop in there, plug in, and just read a room and rock it. It's just he's giving a performance. So it still was an honor to open for him like that and kind of display what I could do. So it just. I see what he's doing and I respect. I respect what he's doing.
It's weird because it's like Pauly D. I remember when Pauly D started DJing.
I DJ part of it. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
A lot of
like,
motherfuckers hated on him.
Yeah.
But yo, like even to this day, I think every fucking venue owner that I talk to, Pauly D is probably the number one draw.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
For like-
Pauly D was another one. Like,
For
Sick
like
it was sold
women,
out. Yeah.
like women ticket sales.
Right.
but like 60 to 70% women ticket sales.
Right.
And for the first time, they would see women booking tables.
Right. No. It was a great night.
Yeah. When
It was a
Pauly,
great
so
night.
like everyone's like, why is Pauly D getting booked everywhere? Why is he like he literally he creates sales and like tables.
Yeah.
Yo, I opened for Pauly D his first Las Vegas performance at Jet.
Oh yeah, for real?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was like all females in the club.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
And then girls wanted to get into the booth. They was like, they was trying to be like, yo,
Yep.
come on, can I get in the booth? I'm like, nah, you
Yep.
can't do it. I'll do anything you want for.
Yeah. and honestly, you know,
Never was like
him being on,
I was looking around. I'm like, really?
We got a situation over here.
and him being on Jersey Shore, you think he was an arrogant? He's actually one of the coolest.
he's so
He was really
humble,
nice.
Yeah.
Cool, really cool dude.
Yeah.
He used to
Really
come to
cool
New
dude.
all the time too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, he was cool as hell. I like Pauly.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because what he just said. I remember he was at Vanity, and that's the first time I've ever seen like real diehard groupie activity like that. Like it was just so pathetic. Like these girls were coming up, and I think I just happened to be in the booth, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Can we get in?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "We'll do anything." And we're like, "I'm like, no, like you can't get in." And they're like, "We'll do anything." And I just looked at them like, yo, this is.
Man.
I'm like, yo, like for what? I just didn't get it at the time. It was really like I'd never seen no shit like that, man.
And it's that
And I
haircut.
was just like, this
It's the
is
haircut.
Pauly D. I was like, yo, for Pauly D, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like he's the number one draw right now.
You know it's
For
real.
nightclubs.
It's real when women are buying tables.
You know, can be honest. He actually doesn't have a bad song selection in his set.
No, I heard he's good now.
No,
he's
yeah.
really good
yeah,
now.
he's actually like it's actually pretty good.
yeah.
Like it's not.
I heard he was already when he started, he was decent.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
now
then I
there's
heard a little rough.
Okay.
Right?
So you ever put your
Yeah.
you ever play a video game you put on easy mode?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna just say that I think like his DJing style's kind of on easy mode per se.
yeah.
But he knows what to play.
He knows
to
what to
kind of get
play,
the
yeah.
energy hype and keep it there naturally.
Yeah.
He has there was I guess some guy helps to set him up. When he gets in there, he hops on. It's like he's it seems like any other DJ that
Yeah.
would know what to do.
And he has
he's
great presence on the mic.
Great. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
And they're already low and crazy trying to show titties anyway. So you know,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
Probably.
I gotta go see him soon.
Yeah.
Forget
It's worth a go.
Wait, where's his residency in Vegas?
Marquee.
Marquee, yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I think I just saw a billboard with him for the day club for like the
Yeah.
whole summer. He's got all his dates and shit.
That's when I talked to Suja from Scam, he said that's his one regret.
He's
in,
not signing
in
Pauly D.
life.
He passed up on Pauly?
Shout out! Oh, real quick, T-Pain is actually on Scam but didn't know about it.
Really?
How the fuck is that?
I'm gonna leave it right there.
What he was.
He was like, I remember looking at the Scam roster or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right before I was trying to, and for some reason I couldn't go to the one of the Scam summer thing they have in retreat they have in LA. And I remember looking at it like several years ago or whatever, a couple years ago I guess. Before the pandemic, and then I was looking at the roster, and I happened to see T-Pain was on it, and then I hit Pain because remember again he was doing DJ sets, and I was like, "Did you like? I didn't know you was on Scam." He's like, "I didn't either." I was like, "Oh, well, little did you know." Screenshot. Here you go. Yeah. I don't know what happened with that, but I just thought it was kind of funny. He was just like, "Yeah, I had no idea."
Yo, so like back in the day with Scam artists, before anyone could get signed,
Right.
Sujit had to talk to like 6 or 8 DJs on the roster and get it approved.
Like the mob and shit.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
like, yo, Crooked wants to sign with Scam. So then they go through all the DJs and be like, yo, of course, like, yo, like he's fam. So Suji be like, yo, you're all good. And I think the topic of Pauly D came up and everyone said no.
Right.
And so so and then I think he signed with DJI.
Right.
And then he said he from that point on he stopped asking DJs who he should sign. He just signed whoever he thought he was gonna make money.
Right.
That was like the
Man.
turning point. He's like, why am I asking these motherfuckers
Right.
about DJs? He's like, they're gonna always try to bring in the keep it real motherfuckers. I'm trying to make money.
I was gonna say like with all the accreditations that everybody in this room has, wouldn't you guys say that you guys largely don't fuck with people that you don't kind of aren't familiar with at some point? Like when it came to kind of decisions about vouching or putting your name, because one of my brothers, Neil Jackson,
Shout out to Neil Jackson.
Neil Jackson, got to give a big shout out to Neil Jackson, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, just coming up, of course, I'm like any other DJ when they come up, coming up in the game, it was like, hey, I'm ready for this, you know what I'm saying? And I know you got the pull to kind of just, hey, give him a shot, whatever, cool, right? I remember initially he was just like, nah, you're not ready. And I thought I was ready. Like in my heart, I knew I was ready, but he was like, nah, you're not ready.
You're never ready when you think you're ready.
Right. But he's like, nah, you're not ready. And then I was like, okay, so humble pie, eat it, boom, go back, work harder, try to get more confident. Nah, you're not ready. I've had him come see me DJ a couple times. Nah, you're not ready. And then it got to a point, then finally it was like, all right. And then I showed him up and was like, okay, now I think you're ready. And then it wasn't really until like this past year where he really saw me live killing Irving Plaza, sold out crowd, and was like, now you're ready.
Right.
You're ready to go past us. Like he had that heart to heart. But he's the kind of dude.
This is Neil Jackson?
Neil Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, Neil Jackson. That's my brother, man. Big brother.
Every time I hear Neil Jackson spin, I'm like, you're not ready.
Oh shit.
I'm fucking with you, Neil. Yeah, I'm fucking with you. I had to do it though.
That's so good.
I heard him before the pandemic. I was like,
You're not ready.
I texted motherfuckers like, he's not ready.
Don't let Justin Zotz hear this.
Neil, I'm fucking with you.
Oh, by the
Neil,
way,
I'm fucking with you.
I love Zotz, man. Zotz actually, he helped me get booked a few times in New York City. Too.
Oh shit, we have a 3-day
We have
weekend.
a 3-day weekend in here right here. You know what I'm saying?
No, Romeo Reyes is here.
I've been begging to get on 3-day weekend, but I'm not old enough, man. I ain't eligible enough. I'm not that age yet. I've got 5 more years before I'm eligible.
Oh shit.
Damn, man.
It's like the Hall of Fame.
It is. It really is, though.
Yo, when did I guess I could say like more like street music start becoming like big in the Atlanta clubs? Because I feel like I did Tongue and Groove.
Oh no, man! The street music been big in all Atlanta clubs.
Well, so maybe it's just the clubs I was going to.
Okay, so what it was that they was trying to keep hood motherfuckers from out of the club, so they didn't play those while the EDM explosion happened.
Yeah.
For the bubble hit, they were trying to attract a certain. It's still a red racist state. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I always say, Atlanta is a liberal oasis in a Republican racist jungle.
Vegas is that in Nevada. Yeah,
so you can relate
similar,
to what I'm saying.
Yeah. You go anywhere else outside of Vegas.
I always looked at the Vegas Strip as like the vagina of the desert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So seriously, it's like that sweet spot. But then, of course, you go outside of this, it's like the people in the hills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's some scary shit.
Yeah.
You go east 15 minutes, you may not make it back.
No,
I know this.
I was asking because I did Tongue and Groove. I think it was 2015 summer. Huge Asian crowd, but it was
on a Friday night, probably,
top
right?
40. Majority top 40 EDM. I came
Friday
back
night.
the next summer, same crowd, but it was like
What day was it?
I can play like Future.
What day was it? Was it a Friday?
Might have been a Friday. I don't remember. It was Friday or Saturday.
That's what I'm saying. Here's Atlanta. Atlanta can have Tongue and Groove, right? Mm-hmm. And I love, shout out to Janie and Scott and all them people out there. You know what I'm saying? Dave and all them. But when they were open like 5 days, right? Monday they used to have a hip hop night. They just opened up Wednesdays to kind of be more like the 2 rooms. So it would be like heavy traditional Latin night, and then like open format on the other room, the little side room. Thursday would be industry night, but then Friday would be Asian hip hop night, and then Saturday would be open format night. But depending on what night you go in any spot, it's always catered to. It's always like the same spot, different crowd, has a rotation.
Yeah,
that's Atlanta. Period. Like you can go to one spot on one night. It's just geared for Bollywood folk. You go to and then you go like Tuesday night. We already know if you're Asian or if you're black or if you're white and you want to hear like a certain style or a certain group, you know where to go on what night of the week. Mm-hmm. But there's not that many spots. And now, you see all these other people flooding in there trying to learn what's up, and they kind of like, trying to sift out what's what, but they're always going to have something that's going to cater to a particular group, but they just rotate like a carousel.
Yeah.
Every time.
Because when I did it, I was like, oh shit. Like I was playing.
It's very
I went from
confusing if you
playing
don't
like
know.
EDM to playing like Handsome and Wealthy.
Right.
And
It's very confusing because some of these they'll say some of these like okay, that Havana Club, right? Believe this or not. You know how like some clubs are saying they're banned, you can't play certain songs? I love Havana Club. That was my fam. I came out of there. Like that was the club that gave me the first shot. We're not allowed to play Punjabi MC. It's banned.
Why?
I don't even know. Don't even tell me why. But because I guess it incites such a rageful response in the club. They've had issues. They're like, nah, we don't play that song anymore.
What the fuck?
So the crowd will wild out too much if they hear.
If you catch a bunch of
Punjabi
Bollywood mofos and they hear that, they be hitting the whole little dance and everything like that, bro, it goes crazy. It goes wild. And they said that because it was so crazy, it got out of control one time, we can't play that song anymore in that club.
Punjabi
Does it make sense?
Really?
Even now?
To this
That
day.
sounds like 20 years old now.
But that's all. But also from what I was told from some people, like on Friday nights at Tongue and Groove, you can't play Travis Scott. Or no, they can't play Travis Scott. You can't play No Bystanders by Travis Scott.
That's a really
Fuck the
big
club. Yeah.
Fuck the club. But you know,
Anything else?
But isn't that like a bunch of Atlanta records are like that? That's like every Atlanta record in the 2000s.
I mean, I'm not here to dispute it because hey, they booked me and I appreciate it. So keep
Like
booking me. But
every
here's the
Atlanta
thing.
club, every Atlanta song I know is "fuck the club up."
Turn up.
But listen,
Tear it up.
I don't make these rules.
Fuck it up.
I don't make these rules. I just hey, they want me to come show up.
You don't
I
want
buy
no
my
problems, all this shit.
We don't need to
Right?
play them to have problems either.
You
So
don't
let's
give a
just
damn.
stick
We
with
don't give a fuck. It goes on.
It does.
That's Atlanta shit,
Not
though.
if you,
talk.
not if you buck.
But Atlanta's so much more too, man. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I just want to be just put out there, man, about how Atlanta's so much more. Like you got talented cats, DJs that you probably never heard of that can go toe to toe with greats that travel constantly, that make a name for themselves internationally. You know what I'm saying? Like just talent wise. Now they may not get the recognition because they're in Atlanta, but Atlanta's like its own little world too. And once you guys actually have a chance to come like experience it, like you know, like I said, my boy Vatilas does this whole Parillo 404 movement, and he's teamed up with a couple people to kind of take it on the road. Me, Baby Drew, and a couple other DJs like my boy DJ A1. You probably never heard about him. He's really dope. He's a Persian dude, but he's like hella dope. And if you heard him, you'd be like, man, this guy can play any room in the world. He's that good. But nobody hears about him because, I'm overhyping him because he's a friend of mine. No, like really come and listen to him and see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much talent in Atlanta. People just, it's almost like we got too much talent to know what to do with, or kind of like the people that come out of Atlanta are the people that actually have, like I said, personality, a brand that they can like market and share. And even then we're still typecast as Atlanta's the hip hop town. That's where they came from. So they don't really take into consideration that you can be a open format DJ that has all these other, worldly kind of like perspectives or talent create. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you've heard me DJ when I was at the spot last night, right?
Yeah.
Like I was all over the place, but if people think like, oh, you're an Atlanta DJ. Like I've gotten that from like when I was in Chicago on tour.
Yeah.
I jumped in and was DJing for some songs for T-Pain over at Underground Nightclub. And one of the DJs named Sean Matt kind of moved to the side and was like, yeah, so you gonna be the DJ playing all the Pain songs? And I was like, no, I'm just here to say, hey, what's up? And then pass him a microphone real quick. He's like, oh, you go ahead and play and just hop on. And I had a USB drive, no laptop or nothing. And I played like 12 T-Pain songs. That's all I had on there. He only had like 2 T-Pain songs on Serato. And I was just like, okay, well, now he just left me up there to DJ, and I'm DJing off USBs, the whole Chicago thing. And I'm like kind of catering to what they want to hear and everything.
Just stop real quick. I'm confused. Why were you only there to play T-Pain songs?
Because T-Pain was actually hosting after party when we went to the
Okay.
stop at from House of Blues.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Right.
maybe you gotta
Sorry,
mention
didn't
that.
throw that out there.
Because I was,
Went right through it. I was like, wait, I'm lost.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chris.
Thought you guys were in my
wanna-
head a little bit. That's my fault.
He's like, "Sure."
Not my fault.
He was
That's-
like, we were in his mind and we knew what he was thinking.
right.
I'm like, yeah, but why are you there with
Yeah.
with 12 T-Pain songs?
I was assuming we were vibing too well. That was my fault. I'll take full responsibility for that
no.
one.
Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that when I was up there, they were just like, "Oh, you're from Atlanta, DJing like this?" Like, I'm like, yeah.
Stereotype.
But to me, I'm like, we all
Do you get that stereotype a lot?
a lot,
Really?
outside of Atlanta, yeah. Because they
you
don't
know
think,
what?
they
I
don't
would-
think we're versatile.
I would think the same thing too, though, right?
Yeah.
If they were like, if like Black Amigo's gonna come on, he's from Atlanta, so I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna hold off
Yeah,
on all
they
the
think,
Amigos.
oh, okay, he been playing them Amigos.
ATL shit.
He been playing them Future and damn Amigos and got name.
And I'll be like,
yeah, March Madness.
I'll be like opening for him playing EDM, and he'd be like, damn, he playing
He's
all the
burning me.
EDM.
Motherfuckers burning me, play.
And then,
You know what? I actually, me personally, I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like when
and
they
then
go hard.
right before you get on, I'd be like, I didn't play nothing. I didn't play no hip hop, man. You good?
It's all you. It's all you, man.
You know, I actually like that because I kind of look at the challenge of like, okay, how can I like do whatever you want to do, but then let me figure out, like, let me challenge myself to kind of, you know, dance around what you did and not like sound sick, you know, like I'm not repeating a cycle here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I actually kind of dig it. I'm like, hey, go. Anybody that's open for me, I'm like, yo, go hard, bro. Like, you know, don't hold back.
Well, that,
you know what I'm saying? You know,
fuck, I mean, like, now we know. Now we know a little bit more about Atlanta. I mean, I'm really anxious to go to Atlanta. Because I've heard so many things about it.
Right.
And I'm sure everything I've heard is wrong.
I mean,
you know?
it's one of those things like,
like one of the things I heard early on, maybe like 10 years ago or more, was that nobody dances in Atlanta, like in nightclubs.
Okay.
And because I would hear, like, I would talk to motherfuckers, they'd be like,
you know who doesn't dance that pisses me the hell off?
Yeah.
People who come up for Afro beats, Afro beat requests, they get on my fucking nerves, man.
because they request that.
No, because they request it and then don't dance.
Right.
Like, they don't give no reaction.
The most danceable music.
The most, there you go. Like, they'll come up and, like, you can be playing a whole nother genre or something. I could be playing reggaeton or something. And they'd be like, hey, can you play some Afro beats? Afro beats. Afro beats, please, amigo. I'm like, okay, cool. Sure, all right. I play Afro beats. And then they just sit still.
Yeah, you want like a reaction, right?
Like okay, if you're gonna bug me about it and harass me and not even tip me, at least you can do is just humor me and dance about it.
Right.
Like, they don't do that. Like, y'all sit there and be like, yo, like, oh man, I love a Bad Bunny request. Give me a reason to play some Benito.
I don't think any of us hate Bad Bunny requests.
No, nobody hates him, but I'm saying, but you know, the whole stigma is, oh, everybody's going, you know, Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Right? I welcome that. Like, I'm like, please give it to me.
I'm the same way. I think
you know how many times I've had to hear, give me a Burner Boy song, and then they don't even do shit. They're lifeless. You're dead. Wake
lifeless.
up. It's annoying.
I know what you mean.
It's nauseating.
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
If someone's gonna come up and go out of their way to request a song,
then act like it's the last song you ever hear in your life.
Yeah, when you hear the shit, you should be
you better
like,
go off
rejoicing.
Thank you. Like, oh my God, like, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, bop or something. You just sit back there and
smoke the hookah.
I heard that's an Atlanta thing though.
Man,
just like nobody dancing.
Man, they serve
and everyone's just smoking hookah.
Man,
that's what I heard.
They sell hookah in church, bro. What you talking about?
Are you serious? I think you're serious.
You see my face, right?
They sell hookah in church.
They sell hookah in church.
Atlanta?
I promise you, they do somewhere.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
It's a Sunday service.
I've heard. Well, okay, if you don't believe me, that over at New Birth, they welcome people to smoke weed there.
Wow.
I'm not lying about that.
So New Birth is a church.
New Birth is church, Eddie Long. That was Eddie Long's church, but he's passed on a few years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I forgot the new pastor name, but he's been there, new senior pastor.
So they let you smoke in church?
I haven't been there. You probably think I would have been there by now, but I have been there. But I know people in there, they welcome the smell of what used to be the devil's lettuce is now God's herbs.
I've never heard devil's lettuce.
I've heard that.
You never heard?
I've heard that before.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce?
That shit is
It's a southern thing. It's a southern thing, man. I'm telling you, you just had to be there. But they welcome anybody who smokes weed. They're like, bring on the dankiness of the dank.
But was that ever
the burning bush?
Was that ever part of the club scene? Just like motherfuckers not dancing and just smoking hookah. And
you know what happened when I started DJing. Because I've only professionally, quote unquote, been Black Amigo as a DJ since I started 2014. Since that time,
fairly new.
Thank you.
That's why he came in here saying, "Dude, I'm so like." He was nervous because it was everybody.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking like, yo, man, I'm out here outclassed, literally. But when I first started, I seen a lot more people dancing. But then again, once Afrobeat and the reggaeton dance, Latin parties, they'll dance all the time. Yeah. But when you start bringing in that Afrobeat kind of like that vibe, and the hookahs start coming in, and the bottles and more like there's been people who remodeled their whole club just to add a shit ton of more sections. Right. That shit came in, then you start seeing people dancing in sections, and you don't even look for people dancing, you look for the bottles to come out. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then you're like, okay, well, you know, the business mind person to me, you know, thinking as a DJ is like, all right, well, maybe because this is the culture now, we should probably get more money now. Then the kickback comes like, oh no, well this month this rate is this rate just because we're making more. I'm like, whoa, I want more of the pie too. Like we're the ones creating the vibe here.
I heard the rates are kind of rough in Atlanta.
Oh man,
I heard like this is what I heard early on that it was like the rates were really rough in Atlanta. Maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah,
it was really really rough.
Yeah,
and all the DJs are cutthroat. Like,
oh, it's a dog eat dog world.
Yeah. Like everyone's fighting for the fucking gig.
You know what the thing I've always tried to be about is trying to unionize. Like one thing, there's a group in Charlotte. You ever heard of Roche and them? Radical Grove?
Yeah.
Radical Grove. They have like this collective of DJs, and they have all these new spots that are opening. They ain't got enough DJs to go around to go send them here on a rotation. So they'll call me or other dope DJs from surrounding markets to come in like once a week or like not once, like once a month. Hey, can you go work this spot over here? Because we just you know what I mean. Like there's so many new spots opening up. Atlanta got few spots and so many other DJs just popping up, and most of these DJs are new cats. I'm an OG. You said I'm young, right?
Yeah,
I'm considered an OG in my scene.
Really?
Like, Black Amigo is the OG. He's the legend OG. I'm like,
you're probably like an OG as a fixture in Atlanta and Atlanta nightlife.
And I can I say this humbly?
Yeah.
That blows my fucking mind that somebody would even say that. I'm like, because you know what it is? All of us as DJs, we're still chasing something. The big names, the Diplos, Bices, Cascades, and those are like production house, that specific genre DJs though. But everybody who's a DJ that's a performer, we're all chasing something on our own journeys. So while he's accomplished shit that I only dream about accomplishing, he's still chasing something. I've heard about you long before I even stepped in this room with you and we saw you in Phoenix, and I know you're still chasing something. Jamie's chasing something, Neva's chasing something, D Miles is chasing something. We're all moving individually on our own separate journeys, but we're coming together to try to collectively build something else and create something bigger than ourselves so that we can also further our progressions. So with that being said, is like everybody is moving differently, but it's still dog eat dog because it's like Mario Kart. They trying to throw that banana peel to slip somebody because they're trying to get ahead of somebody in Atlanta. But I'm like, we should unionize and all come up together to reset the floors, reset the rates, have us respect us more, come together. So it's a market. Yeah. DJing is a market. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to do that.
It is hard because of ego.
It's hard.
Ego.
It's ego, but I think just some people need the money more than others. You know what I'm saying?
But
I think that's the problem.
But see, that's the problem. Everybody's chasing something different. They're still chasing it. Like I said, what's Diplo's net worth? You can talk to him right now. I guarantee you he's still trying to accomplish shit that we can't comprehend, but he's chasing it just with the same amount of energy and vigor that you may be chasing what your goal is. And your goal may be in a line with Neva, Jamie, or D Miles, but at the same time, you still have individual goals you're trying to chase for yourself as Crooked the individual, right?
Yeah, the thing is like the whole big DJ thing. Like
right.
I've met these motherfuckers. I've seen a lot of them, and they're just not happy.
Okay.
So for me, being that DJ isn't a goal. Right. I see how unhappy they are.
Right. Yeah. But
I see how much money they make.
Exactly.
I see how like nothing is enough. The people around them are using them.
Yeah.
Like I just see all of that shit. So for me, like I'm like, that's not so much what I want to be.
Yeah. Classic example. Look at Avicii.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Well, yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah. But so like that whole thing disappeared. Like it disappeared years ago. You know, but what you're talking about with like unionizing DJs, I think it's just so hard to do. Yeah. Like in Vegas, I feel like when shit started opening up, DJs were just taking whatever they could. Right. And they really, like, if you look at it now, some of the rates might be going up. Right. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of motherfuckers fuck themselves. Right. No, like they do. They do. Like in Vegas, don't even fucking lie to me. I know you're working a lot and I'm happy for you, but you kind of fucked it up for everything. Well, that's what I'm saying, because you're as strong as the weakest link, even though I don't, like, you may not roll with this cat, but because you're still an option to the people who are going to be paying cats like us. Right. They can. It's the same thing in Atlanta. You got motherfuckers who don't even have the proper talent. Like there's other motherfuckers who not as talented as I, or let's say like a Baby Drew, or Danny M, or cats that's been known in the Atlanta scene like heavy.
Or, you know, like there's DJs and like Mixmaster David, one of my homies. There's no reason why he doesn't deserve top dollar for what he's able to do. I mean, this motherfucker comes out here all the time and does Usher shows.
For me, I think
with Mars too, yeah.
The thing is, I completely get it though. For me, it's like, it brings in new blood, right? And then like people are working steady. It's doing good. It's what it is.
Right.
I think it's fine and it's understandable, but it only changes when like one dude. It really just takes one dude or one DJ. I shouldn't say dude. It only really changes when one DJ sets the example and takes care of others,
right?
And everyone follows.
No.
Yeah. So like for us in Vegas at that time, it was DJ AM.
AM, yeah, for sure.
Because AM was in the scene,
yeah,
and it was like he was getting money, and then everyone's pay was going up.
Right.
That's like the only time in Vegas, right, where like he was getting money and his rate was going up, and all our rates were going up, and we were all like kind of working together to be like, you know, like.
It trickled down.
It kind of trickled down a little bit. And when EDM took over, you know, it was a whole different thing.
Right.
But like the way it is right now, like I think it could get there. Well, but I haven't seen a DJ like AM. Like I haven't seen a new DJ like AM.
Well, because he broke ground. He broke ground and made what seemed like the impossible possible with what he did. You know, like he was the one that punched through the ice, and then the ice becomes easier to break. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So I mean, and the thing is, I got into the scene actually after he passed. So I have to go back on history and refer to other people who tell me, like Killer Cass, good friend of mine, you know, he's of that mold. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to learn from cats like you guys about AM's influence on it. But you still have to pay homage to the ones that came before us and kind of study them and say like, okay, what's up, to kind of see how you want to impact the scene. We all got to worry about what we got to put into it versus what can we take out of it. That's the problem. Everybody want to take out of it and get out of it something like, you know, oh, I'm trying to go do this or do this to this spot. I've been that way. We've all been that way at some point. But at some point, you also say, even with what you have, even if you're chasing something that somebody else has experienced that you want to experience and have your crack at it, that maybe you feel like you given a set might be the set that changes everything. That's your dream. That's your passion. That's the energy you want to go into it every single time. You got to realize that, you know, as you, like the ones that came before you, you know, now it's for us to innovate and take it to another level. You know what I'm saying? But how can we give into it to push it to another level so that we all can benefit from it? Just like AM subsequently did himself, for others to kind of take that and kind of push it to a limit. Well, you know what I'm saying?
I think the problem is that people don't understand the value. Like people don't understand the value of open format right now.
Yeah.
Because the value is basically whatever rate they took when the pandemic, after the pandemic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they kind of like they kind of brought the value down on that.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, there's so many open format DJs and they're going to do this shit for 300, 500.
If that.
So that's the value of it. Now, if we go to an EDM DJ and they take a discount, let's see what the value is on that. And none of them did.
None of them do.
That's the difference that open format DJs do not understand. Right. So, and the thing is this, like a club, like obviously makes more money from an EDM draw.
Right.
But on a regular night, if they have nothing else going on, right, they have to have an open format DJ to make the club money. Right. Because the open format DJ has to read the room, has to play for the tables, for the dance floor, for everybody.
Right. Absolutely.
And, you know, kind of coordinate everything. Now, the only problem right now in Vegas that I see is the value of open format has gone down. Right. So how does that come back up?
I think it just has to be an issue of saying who wants to unionize together as a collective.
I don't think that's it.
I mean, well, again, I can only really speak from, let's say, from where I'm at in Atlanta versus what's Vegas' situation, because I've seen it work in a smaller market. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't mean that to say any. Like I don't, because I do agree with you.
I do understand.
I agree with you 100%. Like it won't work here for sure.
No, I think in what you're talking about in Charlotte, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's so many spots that is just popping up, and it's a smaller market, and they have people that work with them to control the entertainment.
And I know like some of the major DJs that were there, they're not that many, so they were able to kind of like
have hands on with
to communicate and organize, because that's what it really is that. if a venue hits me up,
Right.
and they give me a rate, I hit somebody up like, yo, you've done this spot. What's your like?
Yeah.
Is this normal? And they were
Right.
like, nah, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
And that's what it really becomes.
Yeah.
Now, if a DJ's like, fuck it, I'm broke and I need that shit,
Mm-hmm.
I understand. You take the rate and you do it. But
Right.
at the same time, in 2 years, what they gotta understand is this: you take the lower rate. After 2 years or after a year, probably you're gonna be like, I want to raise,
Everybody.
and you're gonna be like,
Everybody.
yo, I'm making this
Everybody.
club so much money.
Yep.
Every DJ does this, and I want you
Yep.
guys to understand this. You guys take the lower rate. You work constantly.
Yep.
You burn yourself the fuck out
Right.
to the point where you start not caring about
Right.
the gig. Right?
Mhm.
We've all been there.
Yep.
So you start not caring about the gig, and
Yep.
you think your name is big enough. So you're like, I'm gonna ask for more money.
Right. Or and then if you say, oh, okay, like
And then you realize the venue's like, no,
they
we're
don't
good.
know. You know why? You know why they don't? Because there's some young buck that you don't even
Exactly.
know
And
nipping
that-
on your heels, and he's trash. Doesn't know how to do what you do. Doesn't know how to read a room. But because he's cheap, and we've had hard economic times where they're looking at the bottom line,
Right.
they're gonna go with that guy.
They're gonna go with that guy for a number of reasons.
Right.
Right. That guy's probably been studying you in that room. Mm-hmm. He's been hearing what you do.
Yeah.
And he could do the same thing. So now you've not only played out your style,
And they emulate. But
and
here's-
wait, no.
Yeah.
Not only have you played out your style, and now people know what you do.
Right.
The crowd from that club knows what you do.
Right.
The staff are tired of your sets.
Right.
So now you're at this venue and you've been here and you devalued yourself, and you've kind of made no room for you.
Yeah. You've been.
to
Yeah.
fucking raise your money up.
Listen, when I was on tour, when I came back, man, demand was high. Like just, oh, we need you here.
Right.
And then, they got used to it. Now, I still provided a quality to provide consistency to stay in the spots and still do my thing. And I always I love some of the little lounges you do sometimes. And I would say like, hey, just because you don't do big clubs all the time, don't be deterred by like taking a lounge where you can just be creative on your own.
Right.
Treat it like, I hate to say it, treat it like paid practice. You know what I'm saying? Practice your style. Do something different. Don't be that's the beauty about being open format DJs. Be open format. Don't just stick to one lane or be a one trick pony. Take time to invest in your time, even if it's a spot that's like, whatever, and find where you can have your creative freedom, because that may end up being of more value than whatever little minimal pay you may think you're getting. And you don't have to make sure, do I have to promote it? Good. So you're not going to put your brand in public to make it look bad, but practice. People don't even do that no more. They're so worried about what kind of content can we have to hurry up and put on IG versus trying to practice the craft and see how they can add something to the set to kind of provide something new and kind of switch it up. So we have core elements, but we have something that's new that we can have. It's like you got to cook with different seasons, my guy. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, there's nothing bad in doing small spots or big spots. The small spots are going to help you get back to the big spots. If you had the big spots, go back to the small spots. It's like going down there. It's like going to rehab. Go ahead, rehab your game a little bit, rehab your sound, rehab your style, come back and give them something new, and then trying to flip your brand a little bit, but you can still stay the same person. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard, but people don't do that because they're so caught up in the game in certain spots like Atlanta. They get, they're getting caught up in just the buy low, sell high culture. That's what Atlanta does. But Atlanta does have a wealth of talent. They don't have enough about shit that needs to get, to really kind of branch out. Branding, marketing, outreach, networking. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot Atlanta has to offer, so it gets hard to think about trying to go elsewhere, to reach out elsewhere, because there's so much in Atlanta. But then now it's like, they close a spot here, close a spot here, close a spot here, close a spot here. Now, again, there's more DJs than there is spots. And now it's like dog eat dog. You know what I'm saying? So even some people who were on the top, they're just trying to go get some of these
So that's the real problem, is that all these Atlanta spots started just closing.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, there's not really any new spots really kind of opening like that. Or if they are, you know what they're doing? They're taking restaurants and they're adding hookah. And turning restaurants into / hookah lounges.
So that's why there's a bigger market of supply of DJs.
They have spots, right? You just never hear about them. So it's hard for them to say, hey, I'm a DJ that has aspirations to be on a level of you guys or Romeo or whoever, to travel and do Vegas big rooms or New York or Miami. They don't know, because nobody would take them seriously because, oh, you're at a hookah lounge or something. But it doesn't mean you're not any less talented, or you don't have the tools or credentials or intangibles necessary to kind of break out to be a force that can just, not only you go out and try to make a name for yourself, but help bring people in from outside to show them what really Atlanta really is.
Mm-hmm. Really, the way this only changes is if one DJ blows the fuck up, raises the rates, and then whoever's under him, he raises their rates or she raises their rates.
Yeah.
So then this $500 DJ becomes a $1,200, $1,500.
Yeah.
And then we want him or her, and then it's like, well, you can't have me, but I got my boy who could take care of it, and his rate's $800. That's really the only way it goes back up once it's gone down like the way it is right now.
That's why, hey man, that's why they call me the Margarita Messiah, baby. I'm here to save these people. You know what I'm saying?
So you're the guy. You're the
Margarita Messiah is here.
He's the one.
So you're the one. You're Neo.
Look. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Shit.
Sometimes I think like I am when I get lost.
God damn.
Depends how many shrooms I had before the set.
Jesus Christ.
So wait, when we come to Atlanta, you're gonna show us around?
Absolutely, man.
Please.
Just let me know, man. I'm gonna try to, make sure you got to kind of just see a sample size of what it really can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll show you around. I'll show you some of the other spots. It's not just the national spots. Like there's, like I'm gonna do like Romeo. Romeo was there. Remember we went to go soul food, went to the little popping spot on Sundays. The Buckhead Saloon's not no more, but they do have it's a vibe. You'll see it. And then when you get to see it, you'll be like, oh, okay, Atlanta's really dope. It's not, it's like, it's something you just have to experience yourself, man. And when you do.
Is Gladys Knights still the most popular soul food? No,
absolutely.
What?
No.
Gladys Knight has a restaurant.
The chicken and waffles, right?
Nah,
Yeah.
bro. Mm-mm.
When I went there for
fam.
wait. Let me finish. When I went to opera, when I was doing DJing opera, I remember every cab driver, every hotel concierge, everyone just kept telling me to go to Gladys Knight's restaurant.
Nah, bro.
But at that time, it was popping.
bro.
I don't know. Was it?
So it's not good.
No.
But they kept telling me to go there.
It's not good. It's just that's like saying, oh, let's go to the Varsity to eat. Nobody goes to the fucking Varsity. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to go to Delia's chicken sausage stand, that shit be busting. You know what I'm saying?
Why were they telling me to go there? They're like,
because they're just, you know why?
Yeah.
Because that's probably where he can pick up most of his passengers from out of town, and he can probably take advantage of you.
All right.
It's a hustle city, man.
like,
They hustle
you haven't been to
Let 'em.
Gladys Knights? You have to go to Gladys
But they got,
Knights. I was like,
they
okay.
they got so many new spots now. Like there's this spot called Saunier Garden is really dope.
Yeah.
But they don't cater for DJs that come in there. Like honestly, there's a spot called Pasha that I work with. One of the dopest spot, one of some of the best Mediterranean food, best hookah, best vibes in there. We get people in regulars are Young Ma or Young Ma, Shaq, ASAP Rocky's been in there a few times.
Oh wow. I definitely don't want to go there.
Eric
ASAP Rocky's cool, bro.
ASAP, hey man, put some respect on
I don't want to
ASAP,
go.
man.
I don't want to go
Put some
somewhere
respect on Raheem
where
Myers, man.
a bunch of rappers are going and
I know,
shit.
man.
No. But we actually got in there. Like there's they have 7 DJs a week
Okay.
now. But there's a there's a group that we rotate in there
Okay.
that we got a hold of.
It's a vibe.
I got Mondays there now.
Okay.
So Mondays I try to cater it to like industry and like other. So we'll get like random ass celebrities like the Hawks players when some of the NBA players from other teams after the games are over they'll come through. Like it's a vibe. It's a nice.
This is a restaurant.
This is a Pasha. It's one of the best restaurants
okay.
to go to.
There's
It's a
there's
nice,
really hookah
it's a nice
everywhere.
little
Huh?
sitch.
There's really hookah everywhere in Atlanta.
Man, I'm telling you, they sell hookah in church.
That's crazy, bro.
All right.
I'm not joking.
El Black Amigo, thank you so much for coming through. I'm glad you were in Vegas and we can have like a little taste of Atlanta before we go.
Yeah.
to
A little
Atlanta.
season.
Yeah. Hope what I'm saying. Hopefully, I do like a little mini episode with y'all once you're in there to see it, so we can kind of touch more on Atlanta.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying. So I appreciate y'all letting me come in here.
No,
Come, fuck it, just to get because again, I just there's so much more that Atlanta has, and I'm not saying I'm like its hero or anything,
Right.
But they do call me the Black Amigo for a reason,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The Black Amigo.
The Black Amigo for a
You
reason.
said you're the Neo of Atlanta, so you're gonna save all the DJs.
I mean, like I said, the Margarita Messiah, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here, got to be the party savior. You know what I mean? That's what I do. You know what I mean? But no, I say that humbly just because, this saved my life. You know what I'm saying? DJing is what saved my life. Honestly, like I was, depression and everything. And then when I finally found out this is really what I wanted to do, and like I had aspirations to kind of go in a different lane, but then it just so happened that it went this way, and I'm happy that it did.
Right.
It just allowed to show me, like you said, some of these EDM DJs, they're depressed. A lot of the cats who work open format that still have experienced a lot of accomplishments and success. It showed me a different thing that I didn't even think was true, and it just made me a believer that I'm doing the right thing.
Well, I feel like you were suppressing this love for DJing for like 10 years.
10 years,
Of course,
man.
because a girl.
Because a girl said, "No, like you trash," and I was like, "I'm gonna show you." And then like it just, I got inspired. But yeah, Atlanta's got, like I said, shout out to Baby Drew, A1, Batilla's, Stan. Shout out all the people in TNG, Danny M and all them, and all the people like at Atlanta. There's a lot of vast talent. I just think that people don't have like a outlet or forum to really talk about it. And then there's a lot more that we can do that can make impacts. It's not just trap hip hop and this flashy, can't afford your lifestyle type of hip hop lifestyle that goes on in Atlanta. It's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
The Latin scene is strong. It's really big and strong. You just got to kind of really experience it to kind of get an idea what's up.
Yeah.
And this is stuff that now, like a lot of what, some of the key players that you may not have heard about, we're trying to branch out. We're trying to do things that are, really spread out and go from Atlanta to the rest of the nation, and hopefully bigger than that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, it really started with like, my boy doing the Perdio 404 movement with the Latin scene. And then like when I was able to go on tour with Pain, it was a big look. And the people looked at me like I was their champion because just they seen where I was attached with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They was like, "Oh, you with T-Pain, you did this, da 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 da." And it just really opened more eyes. And so now we're trying to carry that momentum and let it be like, hey, Atlanta got something to say.
For sure.
So.
Oof. And yeah, I mean, hopefully you and T-Pain will squash your beef. And
we have no beef.
You'll get back on the podcast.
Man, we have no beef. We have no beef.
He'll answer your calls. He'll put you on the podcast.
I love Fahim. I love that. That's my dude, man. Shout out Nappy Boy. Shout out Young Cash. Young Cash was the one, man. He's the one that really kind of pulled the trigger on it, made it happen. But T-Pain, man, I wouldn't be where I was at if it wasn't for Pain. So I love him to death. You know what I'm saying?
Bring him back, Pain.
Mama love me. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Pain.
Pain love me. No, we're friends. We're
Hashtag
good.
bring Black Amigo back.
That's my dude. No, he got a lot of major things coming up too. He got a new album coming out. So, he got Nando STL. We got Young Cash Project coming up. So there's a lot of shit that's happening. A lot of good things happening.
We need some T-Pain music.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some new. You weren't there yet. But I opened up with some new T-Pain.
Really?
Shit. Yeah. I think he came a little late, but P-Dot heard it.
I just see him have like he has IMAX full of music and he's not doing shit with it.
Oh no,
He's
you'd be surprised.
He's making more money playing the game.
No, he like to say it's gourmet music. Gourmet music. And I'm inclined to agree. It's actually really, really good. I'm not just saying it because he's my friend, but I mean, like I said, I'm more than just no offense. I'm just know that there's a lot more what I'm affiliated, what I'm doing with, just as a DJ is more than T-Pain, but it's also we're building on that. He taught me a lot just watching him about just being a one-man Renaissance man of doing podcasts, doing other ventures, along with just being an artist. Do other shit, but be a DJ. That's what you're known for. Build on that, build around it, and then try to get people to come around. And what can you give to it before other than what you can get out of it? And in that way, I think that you can ensure a successful career going forward and build on that. So hopefully, I could be in these big rooms here in Vegas as a hallmark for my career.
Yeah.
But for others, what I'm saying, they can realize I got something to give to them and they can give back from me as well, so we can all help grow together and we can change the culture. I want to be that guy that says I want to change the culture.
Damn.
So I'll leave it at that.
Should have been a pastor. All right.
That's why they call me the Margarita Messiah, baby.
Shout out to the Black Amigo. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.